Live streaming is on.
And I'll just share my screen here. So yeah, today I'll just give a quick update. Ericsson for notes. So one of them is RFC 140. So we have 4 Shepherd nominations, and the steering committee hasn't had a meeting yet, or they provided a small update, but they haven't kind of announced Shepherds yet. But nevertheless, I went ahead and scheduled a meeting, and we had a meeting. The meeting notes are in here. That was on Friday. And yeah, everybody was pretty much on board with it. We had some small things pointed out, and I made some changes afterwards. Also, I made some changes before the meeting. Maybe I can briefly go through at least one somewhat significant change, and that is let me see, rendered. That is this thing here. So previously, I was kind of wondering how should we even enforce this unit directory standard for new packages. But then I thought about it and was like, let's just have an exclusion list, because we want to automatically migrate as many as possible, but some of them can't be automatically migrated. The ones that we can't, that require manual migration, should just be added to an exclusion list, which we can then work down over time and eventually remove. This is kind of an easy way to implement this without having to need some fancy tooling for like what can be migrated, which would then also lead to problems. So yeah, that's kind of a nice change. I also just, the RFC has went through some iterations regarding the structure. The basic idea is still the same, but it's, I think, a lot cleaner now. I also added some, I haven't mentioned this in the meeting either, but I added some just statistics here. So like, if we look at the distribution of these shard prefixes in Nixpkgs, we can see the list one is the only one over 1,000 values, and which is like barely over the 1,000 limit for GitHub's display. But like only 29 attributes won't be listed in GitHub directly, and that's something I think we can live with. Also, the migration size, there's like a very easy thing we can do, just kind of counting the attributes that could be migrated, which turns out to be about 80%. And yeah, so that's sizable, which is pretty good. How many we can do automatically, that's probably going to be most, but I'm going to guess around 70 or so. But yeah, so also after the RFC, I made some small changes just to make sure everything is addressed. I also double checked the Git operations that I previously kind of determined as problematic or non-problematic. In particular, release backports won't be problematic at all. I even tested this with a PR to a Nixpkgs fork and the backport tooling setup. Let me look here. Actually, yeah, backport. Yeah, I even tested this here with a backport test and worked no problem. So this backported a change to a new file. So this PR changes the packages unit file. But the backport is for the old location. So here we can see packages server size Heisenbridge. So confirmed that works. I previously also tested whether it works without causing conflicts for PRs, but it turns out that's not the case. If we make a PR to, well, if we have a PR that changes the old location, so this here, but then we perform the migration on the master branch, that will cause problems, merge conflicts, but yeah, JK.
One thought would be if it's not just a change to the moved file, but if there's an addition, I guess the backport, it wouldn't keep the file relative. It would just, modify the original location, but add the new file in the new simple path thingamabob.
Oh yes, yeah.
I guess they could modify the commit and just, it would be a by hand backport. They just need to move the file.
I believe it would probably, I guess we could test that as well. But yeah, we kind of discussed that, yes, the first PR that introduces the standard should be backported, so the backports of new packages should work. I think that I'm pretty sure this should work. Right, it's just introducing a new file into branches. Yeah, that should be the same.
Have we tried backporting the move commit? Because I guess this is what this is suggesting.
The move. So this is only the kind of standard itself. We won't do any moves here yet. Only the second PR with migration will move all the things, and we don't intend to backport that one.
Got it. I see. So it means that if there were any new packages added to the old release branch, they would work, but the movements for everything else wouldn't be copied back.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, that's right. All right. So yes, and so now we're really just waiting for the steering committee to officially make a Shepherd team, and then since everybody is on board, at least we met with 3 nominated Shepherds without Alex, but everybody here was on board, and Alex, I guess, is as well, since he's part of the team itself here.
Yes,
so yeah, we can just
on board.
Very good. So yeah, we can pretty much immediately call FCP when shepherds are announced, and then it's just a 10-day wait. And yeah, so I plan to just work on the first PR here. Yes. All right, any questions here? Otherwise, I'll move on to the other thing.
I'm sorry. I'm very out of practice on notes. I think the one of the most important things there is you mentioned changes to the RFC, and I just straight missed that in the notes.
All right, let me. Yes. Well, I mean, we do have a recording at least.
I could go back and do it too, if that's, I suppose. I've never actually checked these, but if they'll be up there, then I could do that.
Yeah, they will be. Let me try to briefly. We had changes. String committee first meeting made changes before and after the meeting to address concerns. Yeah, JK.
Okay. I guess.
Sorry. Yeah, you guys finish first.
Well, you can go ahead.
I was just going to bring up. I made a comment on the RFC about the anchor tag, which I believe you've seen, but it didn't make it into the changes.
Yes, I'll fix that.
Sweet.
Yeah, that is indeed. Like I think this is kind of the only way to link to a specific item in Markdown, just using
Yeah.
HTML. But yeah, I should close the tag here.
Yeah, the
Cool.
GitHub Markdown doesn't use they don't like implement the regular Markdown specs. Yeah, you do have to do it with those weirdo links.
Yeah. So that's backporting, and also, yeah, I guess backporting. Yeah, something like that. All right, then, John, can you take notes for the other thing?
Yeah.
All right. So there's not too much going on, but we are meeting regularly with most, let's say, with some members of the packages modules working group. And so that's slowly going along. I'm always trying to keep these meetings as short as possible and to instead do asynchronous work instead. And that is working decently well, I think. So we have pull requests open, one by Ilko, one by David, Alex also one by me. Yeah, and so yes. And yeah, so we're really just I'm not yet sure how that's going to work out. So far, the kind of idea is for everybody to review these PRs in the working group. I feel like just reviewing PRs is generally easy. So far, we haven't really had that where everybody has reviewed it, but let's see how it goes. Yeah, I think other than that, it's like, yeah, this is looking good. Meeting notes are in here, by the way. Generally very, very short, since we really just look at the, right, last time it was just me saying that let's look at the tasks, let's reassign tasks. So we're using the GitHub issue tracker here and using the assignee thing here to assign tasks to different ones and just ensure that everybody has something each week. Yeah. All right. Any questions for this? All right. Sounds good then. Yeah, I don't have anything else from my side. Does anyone else want to bring up something?
I added a little heading there for this. I early in these meetings when we were deciding what to do, I mentioned it'd be good to get the peer bootstrap stuff from Geeks, which has recently hit some milestones, and someone has in fact started doing that. A certain Emily Trow, and yeah, it's everything I hoped for. And I bring it up here because it part of everything I hope for is it's a very good playground for sort of experimenting with the architecture, because since it's fully self-contained and there's no like big blobs that are somewhat opinionated like today's bootstrap tools. It doesn't use the regular standoff because standoff has too much stuff. It's like the easiest way to try out things and prototype them, I think, in Nixpkgs today. So very, very excited for that, and very excited for that to facilitate all sorts of architectural experimentation. It's that actually, and I can.
Yeah, very nice. It's like great for experimentation. Oh, nice.
Let's wait. That's
Nice. Oh, and by the way, oh, nice. Someone added the significant label here. Like. Nice. Yeah. Do you think this team should like look? Oh, it's already merged. Oh, that's begin work.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did like a refactor of it. Like one thing Robert has mentioned at times, and I mentioned this to Robert, is like it'd be good to try to use derivation strict and not just leak arguments everywhere. Like this is a little tiny self-contained thing, so it's like a very simple place to start with that change.
Yeah, and that is also related to this PR. But
Yeah,
can
since
I
it's
not
new,
expressing
just
these?
do it right the first time.
Yeah. Place or not. Nice. Okay. Yeah, nice to see. Do you think there's anything this team needs to do about this, or
It's
I
not like it
like the
needs to
updates
be-
in any case.
Yeah, it's not like it needs to do anything, but I think it should come up. I feel like in not like in the problem needs to be addressed, but like an opportunity. Like almost everything we do, I think will go better by taking advantage of this. So like I strongly just try to work it in there, and the opportunity should arise. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's
Sounds
important to
good.
keep an eye on, especially when we get close to potentially being able to move standard env onto this.
Right. I imagine the first version would just be using this to rebuild the existing Bootstrap tools, which is not interesting
so like
architecturally.
keep it pretty separate.
But once once that bridge is made, then it's like, okay, big refactor time. We cut out the Bootstrap tools entirely and just like use the underlying stuff.
Yeah, and the other part is as this Bootstrap gets kind of higher and higher, I guess there's more things that get a bit closer to the rewriting of standard env.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, some of that might come up, like the way we've done the Kime builder and stuff like that. We might want to tweak or use as inspiration for a new standard env.
Right. Like for example, there's a function in there today, derivation with meta, which does like the meta checks, but none of the other derivation stuff. That's just like a great building block that everything should be using. So yeah, the fact that bootstrapping is layer by layer naturally corresponds to breaking up like stand up into parts.
John, you should have started with that. Love it. I love it. I use raw derivation all the time because make derivation is just like the most gigantic thing in the world. I don't know, it's overkill for a lot of stuff, but
yeah, exactly.
I do want meta to be done correctly, so that's awesome.
Yeah, that's right there in the first PR. Maybe I can. Yeah, someone's searching.
The other part that I really like is the super simple fetcher that we've got, where it makes the built-in actually produce like a nice derivation that shows up properly, rather than just like, oh, you copied something.
Oh, is it the?
If you want those for the other built-in fetchers, send me a message. I'd spent a long time making all those.
Wait, is it this one? You mean?
No, there should be like a proper if you search for like fetcher / it might be in a folder called fetcher.
Fetch URL boot.
Yeah, fetch URL boot.
how is it?
All right, so
maybe it's in a separate PR.
No, there's.
Where does fetch URL come from?
Are you talking about built-in's fetch URL or the
this one
fetch URL that's vendored inside of Nix?
This one here, the build support fetch URL boot.
Yeah,
so it wraps
that
around
has
the
existed
built-in.
that has existed in Nixpkgs for longer already. For years.
Okay, cool. I first saw it in like a branch that had some of this. But yeah, like I tried some of this, and I was just using the built-in, and then like when I would review the graph, it would look like a bunch of stuff just kind of got copied into the store. No like real details on it.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. But I will officially end the meeting. But you're free to stay longer and chat. All right.
Cool.